Why cold brew? And why filter coffee?
Roughly, I guess the coffee market somewhere around 10,000 crores.
Cold brew is a great mixer for coffee cocktails.
Your first 1,000 customers. How did you get there?
This was 50% grades, now 80% because of that.
A lot of the time we get this feedback that these guys have this fancy branding, the product is shit and all of that, right? The product might be shit for you, that's fine.
But you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, you can.
What?
Don't drink it.
Welcome to JarXchange. Let's start with a couple of things. So how's the cold brew market in India?
Very early, very few players. Not many people understand. We need to understand we are a chai drinking nation. In that, I am doing a black coffee cold product. Right? I'm not even doing a cold coffee or a hot coffee kind of a thing, right? So it's extremely difficult product to crack. But we were very clear that we need to understand, can we sell this product? Like, you need to figure out a channel to sell this product. And one channel we were very bullish on, and we got some learning from this brand called Mr. Black in Australia. This is an extremely good bar product.
Okay.
And coffee cocktails is a thing that people want to try out and experiment. So we said, let's focus only on one channel, Horeca. Hotel, restaurant, cafe and bars. And we'll get into top bars in Bangalore. And obviously, like two idiots carrying a bottle, 200 ml bottle of black coffee, bars were like, who are these guys and why do we want to sell black coffee? Few early people who took a punt on us, one was Bob's Bar. They took a punt on us saying, let's do it. And they started seeing a lot of people actually buying and sitting inside a Bob's Bar drinking a hazelnut coffee.
But people, as customer, I wouldn't know it was Bonomi.
So it was written Bonomi Cold Brew in the menu.
Okay.
But we were surprised that who is buying this, right? And then Toit happened, and then Roxy happened, and then other bars started happening, and Arbor happened. We made a beer also with Arbor. So then we started saying, okay, let's go deep into this channel, and then that's how we built the market. We had to build the market. It's a category that we need to create because there were hardly any players. There were at that time only in a RTD form. Us, and there was Blue Tokai. CPL was still doing the bags, but from a bottled perspective or can perspective, we were the only ones.
Okay.
So we had to create the category, which is still very, very small.
And it is a proven product in US or other markets.
It's a proven product.
Nescafe has launched one recently in Australia, right? Yeah.
It's a proven product.
Okay. And why filter coffee? I mean, we all love filter coffee, which we get very easily here, right?
Yeah, so I think for me, it's a little bit of the roots. I've probably been drinking coffee since I was 3 or 4. Remember my mom giving me, I guess, the least amount of decoction and saying that that's all kids get. So I've always liked it. And I slowly started realizing over time that when I didn't like the coffee, I would quickly run to grab some kind of snack, a savory snack, just to change the taste. And I guess that was like my initial kind of, call it learning or some kind of experiences where I was figuring out that maybe this worked for me and this didn't work for me. So that's about it. So I was just, I guess, a great coffee consumer. As far as filter coffee is concerned, we've gone through an evolution, right? Like he said, proper tea drinking country, but coffee is grown here. And therefore, the southern states have an inkling towards coffee. Mostly exported, but it also became an everyday beverage in most South Indian homes. We've gone through this progression where it was perhaps in the, let's say, the 60s or the 70s, unorganized, just go to a local shop, tell them your blend, and they give it to you. It progressed into brew and Nescafe sort of bringing us the instant version of filter coffee. And the brew that we actually consume in the South is actually very different from the brew that you get in many other places. The blend is tweaked. And it is the South Indian filter coffee version, or as close as you can get to it, version of instant coffee, right? That's why there's Nescafe Sunrise, which is essentially the filter coffee equivalent in an instant format, right? Even the advertising, the 30 years of coffee advertising also hasn't really changed so much. Even today, the ads are essentially a comparison to the OG, which is, oh, I didn't know this was filter coffee. Like, this was an instant coffee, right? This is like instant. I thought it was filter coffee. And when you see the action of them trying to mimic the two mugs and
Mugs,
having
yeah.
what we call Aati Udifying the coffee, is essentially them trying to say that this might be an instant powder, but it's the same thing, right? So they've conditioned, I guess, a generation or two to understanding that coffee can be consumed in an instant format and can taste maybe somewhere close to filter coffee. So that evolution happened. I guess the next evolution in that sense was the incoming of Western coffee in the form of what CCD and barista did. So we got introduced to an all new format. What is this cappuccino and stuff like that, and it became a place to hang out. But the home consumption never really changed, right? It was still filter coffee at home. When I went out, I would try this, this cappuccino sort of thing. Even if I went out to a restaurant, I'd still have filter coffee. It wouldn't be another kind of coffee. And
That would be disappointing. Or was it good?
yeah, I mean, which one?
The filter coffee at branded stores.
It's really good because I mean, when you go out to any restaurant, post breakfast, whatever coffee you do is filter coffee, and restaurants have also prided themselves in having their best version or whatever, right? So coffee consumption in the south is almost like 3 to 4 cups a day on average, in home plus out of home. So Tamil Nadu's market apparently is about 2,500 crores annually. So which is a large market just for one, what we can call one SKU, right?
This is retail.
Yeah, this is the so roughly I guess the coffee market somewhere around 10,000 crores, out of which I would say roughly around 6 to 7,000 is what we call instant coffee, and Brew and Nescafe themselves are together I think about 3,500 or 4,000 crores, and the rest of it is what the other brands, Continental, SLN, and all of these guys have, and the rest is what is roast and ground. Most of it gets exported. The brands that are doing filter coffee, which are known for filter coffee, like Leo and perhaps now Kotas and Hatti Coffee and all of that, they're all legacy brands built over 20, 30 years. So yeah, post the CCD wave, I think we had the next wave, which was we got the cafes. Now can we bring the cafe to home? So the cafe at home experience started with what I guess Rage and Sleepy Owl and all of these guys tried to do. So in the evolution of coffee, we've seen a lot of action progressing from mostly South Indian to Western, but no real action happening in the Southern filter coffee space, which is arguably the biggest form of coffee consumed, at least in the South. So the brands still that are existing are the legacy brands. So it still seemed like a big gap for a new age player. I guess the only latest entrant in that is Tata Coffee Grand, right? They did a big sort of launch, I think 2014 or 2015, realizing that there is this big gap for filter coffee because the legacy brands are slowly kind of fading away.
Do you have patterns of north and south when it comes to cold brew?
So, I mean, Bangalore, as he mentioned, from a coffee perspective and the knowledge is way, way higher as compared to any other state. Few states that have surprised me is something I was very surprised when I saw very limited amount of orders that we do on our website is Surat.
Wow.
Yeah. So Surat right now has the highest number of specialty cafes in India.
Because they don't have alcohol?
Yeah. So one reason is that, and extremely good quality of coffee. And I was very surprised. I was not aware. And people have espresso machines at home, and they're brewing great coffees.
Have you been to Surat?
No.
I went there, and normal cafes
Yeah.
at 11 p.m., 12, just jam-packed
Yeah.
with waiting
Yeah.
queues out there, which you don't see here.
Exactly.
Like on weekdays.
Yeah.
Which might be a direct result
I
of
saw
not
this in Ahmedabad, where again I was told that the reason is probably the same thing, right? Because
No alcohol.
because I'm actually trying to find it very hard to understand that are people drinking every day that they have to hang out, but
No,
that
but
seems
it's
to
the
be
hangout place, right? It's not about drinking every day.
Yeah.
Where do you go?
Where do you go?
Where does
so I guess
Bangalore
that's what it is.
go?
Because we see this here. I don't know if you've heard of this place called Nama Filter Coffee in Jayanagar.
Same.
Exact same behavior that you're talking
Yeah.
about. Till about 1 or something in the night, people just coming out on
Yeah.
their bikes and cars, just enjoying hot coffee, cold coffee. whatever 2-3 snacks that they have, and it's like a tiny outlet.
Tell me, once you decided that this is what passion has to convert into business, this is what really fascinates me. I ask a lot of people. Your first 1,000 customers, how did you get them?
I think first 1,000 was mostly friends, family, and their friends and referral.
Did they pay?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and they paid, and it was referral and the number of companies that we worked in. So we start spreading the word there that hey, we have launched this, etc. You have alumni groups, etc. So we started posting there.
So it's a network.
It was mostly network and referral, and not so much about. We were posting on social media, but in the beginning, you don't have so much following as a brand. Then it's your personal brand and how active you are. So that's how we got our first 1,000 customers, and during COVID specifically, I don't know if it's just us, but it was extremely easy to speak to influencers, and they were ready to just do it for free.
Because no brands were paying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember this Bollywood singer, Shilpa Rao.
She reached out to you too.
Yes.
Their team was reaching out to everyone, I think, at that time.
Yeah. And she's like, I want to do this and I will just post it. I was like, why is she doing this? And she did it.
She loves cold brew.
Yeah, maybe. But I was, I'm
And
just.
filter coffee?
Yeah. I was just very surprised that why is she doing this? So that time it was, those sort of a things that were happening. Like, hey, I want to try your coffee, etc. But yeah, first 1,000 was mostly network referrals, friends of friends, posting on our social, posting on where we worked, spreading the word out. That was how
I think COVID also, what I experienced was the WhatsApp groups, the apartment WhatsApp groups, they were very active. So people were trying different things
Yep.
there, and maybe a lot of D2C brands would have
Yep.
sprouted at that
Yep.
time. So how did you get your first 1,000? It would have been, is it easier? Was it easier because you were from the background? You had the background of marketing.
So I'll tell you what was. See, I don't know if it's easy or difficult, but I guess this is also a function of kind of knowing which category you want to play in, right? If you think that you are in a slow sort of experiment home business kind of space, then perhaps I guess naturally what you will do is to put something out on social, or share something on WhatsApp groups. Just tell your immediate circle essentially. I guess in our case we were kind of clear that we wanted this to be an FMCG brand from day one, and because it was the pandemic, we chose the D2C route, and we said we will sell via the website, and we were a single SKU brand, right? We just had one product selling at 320.
You started with coffee or snacks?
Coffee.
Okay.
So we had the instant version. I was essentially just doing, let's say, 2020's version of Nescafe. No real mega product development or whatever, right? And I was very clear with that, saying, if I go behind this path of trying to find the best coffee out there, I may never launch. I will go with what I think is good today because I can refine it as I go along. So therefore, knew that the channel was, D2C, and said, let's run ads from day one. And I had set aside a certain amount of, I was still working at Web Chutney, and I had set aside a certain amount of my savings to say that this is this experiment's budget. If I lose it, I lose it. If it comes back, great. So we started off doing traffic ads. I did the website, everything myself because I had the time. The lack of commute essentially meant that I could do everything. So yes, from the experience, essentially what I did was brand story, brand architecture, logo design, Shopify's design, and essentially getting the site up and ready, and also the first set of ads which I had shot at home itself. Said, let's run them and let's see what happens. So every day 5,000 rupee ad campaigns were running. So my first 1,000 customers or whatever came via discovery only. People from all sorts of places kind of seeing the ads and kind of reacting to them, and then maybe and directly going to the website and sort of purchasing it. Very rarely did we have anyone messaging us and saying, I saw this, is this, what product is this or whatever. If they were convinced with the, what you can call the trust factor, they went ahead and did it. And we had no COD. It was only prepaid because I mean, I was also new to it, and I said, listen, we can't deal with this sending out a product without any kind of payment. If the customer trusts us, they will buy it and they will sort of do it. So, channel was clear, and therefore, it was all, we were essentially seeking customers from day one. That then kind of, has progressed now to a stage where, we are doing doing the same thing kind of on Amazon. Ecommerce also we advertise. Offline, we place the product, we have a promoter. So we're still doing that same thing, but we're doing it in different channels now.
Okay, talk to me about I'll come to those channels also. Talk to me about the branding. Did you, from day one, day zero, put a lot of focus on how it looks, the font, the logo, the messaging, and everything? Or you just thought, okay, let me just get on with it and we'll see it later?
No, so I think one is I knew that my differentiator would be the brand.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, this is a commodity, right? Your coffee versus my coffee is just subjective. If you think it's great and I think it's not,
Yep.
then that's it. There's no
With the same product.
right
Yeah.
with the same product. So this is a commodity product. The only thing that will differentiate this will be brand. And if we are thinking about this larger South India's branded play, then this better be about the brand. So, and that's also where I guess most of my experience was. So I channeled most of that into this. So I think maybe spent a good 4 months on the brand architecture.
4 months.
Yeah, all again during the sort of this was Feb to May kind of story. So I knew that this had to be something about a humble South Indian home, trying very very hard to find what it can be called, and then I realized one night, I think just like I was telling my wife, like granddad's name VS Money, very very common South Indian name. We also wanted to be something where people can just like remember it and not have to do too much explaining, right? That
It also-
sounds South Indian, so you're just like
To me, it also felt like it's a very old brand.
people think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
कि
yeah.
बहुत
A
पहले
lot
से
of-
कोई
yeah.
अंकल
Yeah,
है जो
yeah.
चला रहे थे,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
it has become
Yeah.
Some people keep saying.
I thought before knowing about the brand, I first saw an Amazon ad. I really thought it's a legacy company.
same.
And then I saw the Shark Tank story. I'm like, oh man,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no legacy. There's no
Yeah.
no
So
history.
that's the power
in,
of good
Amazing.
branding. no?
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
no history in
so
business.
VS Money is
or-
your dad's name.
VS Money is my grandfather's name.
Grandfather's.
So V
Okay.
Subramaniam, he was called VS or Money. So I was
Okay.
like, sounds nice. Let's just put the two together. And from there it started, right? So we said, okay, let me just make this the story of our home, and the story of a humble South Indian home, essentially. And everything then sort of stemmed from there. So,
So a lot of people don't understand that branding can be the differentiator, and that. So there are two schools of thought. One school of thought, you will meet entrepreneurs which will say, I just wanted to get on with it, and I got the customers. I'll figure it out on the way. And then there is the other side which says that I spent weeks and weeks and weeks on getting the right logo, the right font, and everything,
Yeah.
and then going into the market. So just wanted to understand, because you have a marketing background, how much did the branding contribute to who you are today and how you are perceived?
I would say even today, I think a large part of it is because of how the brand is represented. And then they come and realize that, some products work for them, some products don't. So I guess, again, because this is a commodity, it's kind of subjective, right? So we are leading in the customer via the story, and then, they stay for the product. Because we don't have a very very strong product first story, I guess this is the only way for us to do it, right? If this was something extremely innovative, like cold brew, for instance, right, which the market's never known about, and therefore the story can be about cold brew,
Yeah.
then you essentially decide to push the product story up versus keep the brand behind. So I guess it's a call based on
Yeah.
how differentiated you are also.
That's one of my favorite topics. I can go 2 hours with examples on why which brand works. But you tell me, did you have this in mind that it needs to look a certain way, it needs to be branded a certain way before we launch?
No, we were mostly product first. What he said. We wanted to perfect the product, and we were very particular about it. We spent a lot of time on it. Like cracking shelf life, for example, was a nightmare. Like this was 50% grey, it's now 80% because of that. And I don't come from food science background. So a lot of time spent on Reddit, etc. Just trying to figure out how do I crack this. And so we were product first, and we'll figure out everything else and spend time more on the product, because it has to be perfect. So
So did you outsource it to an agency?
no, we did it in house.
Okay.
My other founder, Arman, is more from a marketing background. I'm more of ops, so he handles that. So he had a certain vision, etc. But we did not spend like what you said about 3-4 months just doing perfecting it. I think he had some thought in his head that hey, let's just get on with it. He was searching for some catchy name. Bonhomie is something that he was searching, and then he's like, domain is not available, and it was an Italian family, which is
So that's how
yeah,
Bonomi became Bonomi.
yeah. So he removed the H, and he's like, let's call Bonomi, and then he bought the domain. So then and then things started progressing. The first look and feel of the colors we started changing once we became a coffee company, etc. So I think we figured out on the way, but focus was what he said was more on the product. Let's let people talk about it. That hey, this is the best cold brew I've had. Let's solve for that first.
Yeah, I'd just like to add to that also. I think one of the things that worth sort of pointing out is that just because you are either product first or brand first doesn't mean the other is ignored. A lot of the time we get this feedback that, these guys have this fancy branding,
Yeah.
the product is
Yeah.
shit and all of that, right? The product might be shit for you, that's fine. And he might probably have some people saying, hey, can you like think about your branding? I mean, experts are everywhere, right? So I guess it's just a call that we take on what's more
Important for you. Yep.
today. I would say that our brand stuff has taken a bit of a backseat in terms of how much we think actively about the brand as much as we think about the product. Maybe in their case they've just like come to a point where most of the product stuff is sorted, so we can focus on the other stuff, which is also equally important, right? So I guess that's the
Yep.
balance that we need to,
Yep.
and that's a personal call also, right? You have to sort of take it depending on, again, product category, how big, which industry, which market, all of that.
Is the placement a fight? Where inside the retail store are you placed? Do you fight over it that I want a better place?
No, so I'll tell you how it's worked. At least in our case, right? So all three of us, me, Rahul, and Yashas, we all have the branding operations kind of experience. I've had a little bit of sales experience when I worked with Origami, the tissue paper company. So, and again, because it was a slightly, now I use the word small very, very carefully these days, but back in the day, I thought they were a small brand. Today, just getting to 100 crores, I know how difficult it is. So, because we were a smallish setup, I was able to spend time with the founder, with the sales guy, with the the factory and stuff like that. So I had a very good understanding of how things happen behind the scenes, right? Now, I was told from day one that I might come and keep my product here, but after I go, there'll be another guy who'll come
They'll
push
remove
ours
it and
and
yep. Yep.
shove theirs in. So this is what happens, because every sales guy is going to have to find a way to push his products into the front. That still happens. So what we essentially did was, from day one, we said the first hire, the first important hire that we should make is someone with sales experience, because we have no clue how to do this and we will fail. We are still failing in a sense that, this is so big and so difficult that it's not easy to crack. So we got this person who kind of explained to us. So that's been our MBA, right? To understand how this works. And we had the right number of SOs also to work with. So we had 3 in each city to begin with. And now I would say we are placed in a way where you would find either an entire rack of our products or the entire shelf will have VS Money products. So the visibility is actually quite good. I actually find some of the other brands get pushed to the second or the third shelf because the retailer also gets excited, right? Chalo, new brand, I've seen your ads, you just recently signed on brand ambassador, blah, blah, blah. I guess it'll work, so just put it there and we'll see. So they'll also accommodate when they know that
It is selling.
it can move.
No, but a lot of my friends ask this. So, do brands pay the retailers also? Like pay to get visibility?
It depends on
Yeah.
which store or which store category you're dealing with, right? Some stores charge you for listing itself, like MK Retail, for example, which is a fairly well-known chain here. They have listing fees. Similar stores also have certain listing fees. The other way to sort of combat that is to say, I won't pay the listing fee, but I'll invest in some amount of visibility, so I'll pay you for the shelf or whatever. Some stores don't ask for any kind of money, and you can place the products. I would say about 90% of the stores that we are in, or for that matter, 90% of the stores will not ask for it. It's the 10% of the stores where you know that, there is a certain type of customer coming, and there can be rotation in those places where you will say, okay, let me pay the fees to get in. Like we are in conversation with Reliance right now. There is no concept of listing fee and all of that. But there is, of course, an investment that we need to commit to from a visibility and a merchandiser and a promoter kind of way. So if
And
you
everything is on credit?
everything is on credit, and you have to be able to finance the first
Yep.
3 months knowing that you're not going to get anything
Get any
back
money.
for a while.
Is the experience very similar when you go to online quick commerce stores? Because it's basically an extension of how the retail stores work, right?
See,
How do you crack it? Like so many people have asked me, ask D2C founders, how did they get listed?
I can talk about my journey. Like, so we started with listing cold brews on Instamart. That time we had 2 months shelf life inside fridge. Somehow we were able to get on it. I think they were experimenting themselves that, hey, let's try some new SKUs, etc. And we got listed there. I think they realized that no one in India understands. Many few people search cold brew coffee. Search volume is extremely low, a lot of wastage, etc. So it's not worth the space that they were giving, and we got delisted.
Okay.
And it was quite a challenge for us to then get back on it, right? I think I'll take the liberty to speak that how we got listed back. So we were very clear that when we want to get back, we will get back using a milk product.
Okay.
Little massy. People understand cold coffee, ready to drink. We will do it with that. But then we stopped getting any replies from their team, right? And they were like,
But did you
know,
launch milk products so that you could get listed, or it was part of a bigger strategy?
No, it was part of the bigger strategy because we wanted to capture a TAM that, obviously,
Yeah.
cold coffee versus cold brew. So we wanted to do that, but we wanted to crack quick commerce for cold coffee. We were very clear. And we decided that we'll reach out to the category manager, ask him to get on a call and, tell him that, hey, we have launched cold coffee. He stopped responding and not replying, etc. So I did some jugaad and I asked people that I selected people with more than 5,000 following on Twitter and asked them to fake tweet saying, why is this product not on Instamart? I got a call immediately.
Seriously? But that won't work now.
Like, I don't know, right? Right? And then I obviously got like 10 minutes of him scolding me that you shouldn't have done this, etc. I said, but it worked, right? You were with me on the call.
He
And
knew?
Yeah.
Okay.
He knew. He's like, okay, this is all made up. And then I started pitching him and told him that I've cracked this. Please give me another chance as a brand, etc. And we got on it. So it's extremely tough to get on it.
So it's basically your sales skills.
Yeah. It's extremely tough to get on. Right now, though, it's extremely difficult. Specifically, I think both the brands, Instamart and Blinkit, both, and Zeptos, etc. So you need to have the right connect. You need to have the right product. Need to speak to the right people. How to get on it. But it's not just about listing. It's also about liquidation. They need to see that the brand is that the product is moving faster.
I guess genuinely post maybe March or April of 2023, it's become an incredible challenge to kind of get
Aligned.
it right, and it's also kind of sad because you might be friends with a lot of brands that are like really good and all of that, and they think that maybe they don't, that we're not willing to help, but the truth is that there is just no way to
There's no way. Yeah.
to
But what's the hack? Higher percentages, connections, network. What's the hack? Like or a solid brand.
honestly, it is willingness on their end at this point.
Yes.
You can have all of whatever you said. I can even say that I'm willing to spend 10-15 lakhs a month on advertising, but it's tough if they don't think that they have the space or the requirement for this in their entire scheme of things, whatever they're focusing on. It's not going to happen. It is extremely tough. You'll just have to wait it out. Keep persisting is honestly the only advice sort of anyone can give at this point, because it's not going to happen.
And you said that now you realize the difficult thing is to get things off the shelf.
Yeah.
both physical
Liquidation.
and online, right? So what's happening? How does one move it? Is it in your hands?
Pricing is the most important aspect, especially when you're offline, right? And we are actually priced higher than the market, and therefore it becomes even more important to give the right kind of offers for the consumer to say, okay, fine, this is justified, this offer seems valid, I will sort of pick it up. On coffee, we are competitively priced. On snacks, we are at least about 30-40% higher than the market average. And therefore, what justifies this? It can't just be brand. So we will have to do some storytelling beyond that to say, either we try and move it or we get people to sample it out there, tell them that this is something different from the other ones. In our case, it's a lot about the flavor because we don't do, at least yet, we don't do the our oil is better and all of those kind of stories, because for me it's about muddling the overall story. The South Indian story has to stand out first, and the fact that it's healthy now is sort of becoming a given, so I don't want that to be the front and center story for us. So it's about telling the right things to the ultimate audience so that the chain keeps moving.
You don't say fried, baked, not fried.
No. We are fried and unhealthy. I mean, I'm of the sort of point of view that this is not a function of what we input into the product as much as what you input into your body. So you know that this is a fried product. So please have it in moderation. It's not my job to tell you that I will change the oil. Even if I change the oil and if you still snack the same way, it's not going to be any better.
Yeah. Is health a part of cold brew?
Uh,
No
we
milk, no.
we market it that way. Lactose intolerance, less
Low calorie.
less acid reflux. Our classic order is zero sugar, zero flavor. So we attended a lot of these vegan markets, etc. A lot of people stated, and they were like that I'm extremely lactose intolerant. Are you sure this is, I'm like, yeah, this is 100%. This is just black coffee, right? And brewed overnight, and this is not espresso based. So there is no heat involved, so you will not get acid reflux.
Yeah, acidity is, I guess, one of our biggest
Yeah.
sort of challenges in this industry.
Is it?
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
But you can't do anything about it, no?
Yeah, you can.
What?
Don't drink it.
So on these platforms, what's the commission that you pay?
For beverages, I'm roughly about 30-35%.
Okay.
It's
That's
the
common
same-
across?
It's the same across, yeah.
Okay. Do you advertise on these platforms?
You have to. There's no other way. The
Otherwise-
POC will chase you. Like
Otherwise, the chain doesn't.
yeah, you have to. They will schedule a monthly meeting saying this is the offers that we are going to roll out to. This is where we're going to market. These are the states. We're going to discount it. You have to sign up for it, and there's no other way.
Even if the product is selling? Or it won't sell only?
Um,
I'm asking because it's kind of a black box for a lot of people that I talk to. They don't know ki kya karna hai. Like we spoke about how to get listed. Now I'm telling if
liquidation.
Yeah, in the sense that the sense that I get to people that I talk to who want to start D2C brands is that once you get listed, everything is sorted. That's the thing, right? Because unke paas power hai distribution ka.
See, the new age brands, you need to understand, right? You are betting against one is legacy. One, brands which are way ahead of you. In cold coffee, there were 12 players when we got listed, right? And there was Amul Cool. From Amul Cool, there was to Sleepy All Cans, right? So we were like, if we don't market it, how the liquidation is going to happen, right? And that was the POC's answer, was that you got to liquidate. There has to be a differentiator in the product also. So you have to build your story on the app.
So is pricing the biggest differentiator on these apps?
For us,
Happilo did 1 rupee. This was a section of 1 rupee and stuff like that. So I think they said 1 rupee mein badam, kaju and everything, and people started, like small packet, people started to, there was like sampling. Right? So
Yeah, see, these acquisition strategies, again, all of these kind of make sense if you just want to get the product introduced, right? But there's something or the other that you're doing on a regular basis just to get that product moving or to get that product to show up a little bit more, right? So there is the same concept of search ads.
same thing. So it's an entire entity for like an Amazon SEO.
Yeah,
like
And all of them
very
are
similar.
building out their
So you have teams
advertising.
managing all of this just to how to rank higher and get more hits and CTRs and everything.
So they reach out to us that, hey, this is your report. This is how you have been doing. This is your last month's report. This is the budget utilized, etc. this is what we propose, and then you do back and forth with your category manager, and then they sign up on this, and you freeze the budget for a month. That's how it works. So very similar to what he's saying. Let's say in Amazon, where you do your entire metrics, your CTRs and everything, you have to do it with these guys. So they are behaving in that way, that manner. That you got to invest, otherwise liquidation will be a problem, because you are betting against 11 more brands. So you guys have to come up with some differentiator, and we are going to spend on it.
Okay, let's talk about money. How much did you invest before you raised? Your own money?
Zero.
Nothing. You?
Roughly
5,000 per day. I'd say.
roughly, I think around 3 to 4 lakhs in that first phase, which kind of came back over the course of that year. So until we were small and bootstrap, we were profitable, and I just loved it.
Best feeling.
So yeah, I guess today with this, what you can call so-called growth, fundraise and all of that, I still don't have the satisfaction that I had that day when it was turning it was actually a 12% profit kind of thing at the end of that year. I still don't have that same satisfaction today when, we are kind of burning, but it's part of that journey now, and you have to go through this, otherwise the brand won't sort of get to that position. So, but post that one, it was a fundraise. So
No, talk to me about the fundraise. You did not spend money. You raised money in public. You are
So
building in public.
I am.
So tell me about that.
So
First check. Why would like pre revenue you raise check, right?
yeah. So first one was when when my other co-founder raised and I joined him, was for the cocktail boxes. That he raised it from his ex-colleagues mostly. Somewhere between 36-37 lakhs. And then when we decided that we're gonna kill all the products and gonna convert to coffee company, then we decided that let's do this raise in public.
How did you do it?
So we
Fake tweets.
I started reaching out to all the people I know. And then I told them that, hey, I'm doing this. I'm finally getting into coffee, and I want to do this, etc. So are you interested in investing? And check size was minimum was 1 lakh.
Okay.
So like a lot of people are like, yeah, that faith was there. Let's just do it. I capped out on my network very quickly, and then I decided, okay, who are the people that I can reach out to? Then I decided that, hey, let me just try and tweet that, hey, I'm raising.
Okay.
Let's see what happens.
Were you very active on Twitter then?
Yeah,
Okay.
very active. So and then it happened, and then I started getting people saying, let's get on a call, and then I would like to invest, etc. And then
So you can
Yeah.
raise money if you tweet and if you have a good network.
yes,
I
and
think it all boils down to
Network.
story
But
and-
incoming, you said you get how many incomings did you get?
So my network was around, so I have 72 people, 20 people, 25 people is what I know. And rest others are people I've never met.
And they put in money.
Yeah.
Because you tweeted and then they.
I
liked
tweeted
your
and they
story.
liked the product. I sent out the product saying like, okay, let's do this. And I've not met them. I just send them the quarterly report and that's it. So that happened, and then we were like, okay, let's do this. So that's how we raised. And now with the raise, with what the pivot is looking like, we again reached out, and then we tweeted again, and I'm like, okay, I'm overdoing this. But then again, I saw a lot of people, and now I had to reject people because I increased the minimum check size. So I'm like, okay. So a lot of people are like, okay, I really want to be part of this journey, etc. We believe in you.
Yeah, it's very nice to see a lot
Yeah.
of I was seeing, I think, some of the responses there where someone's like, I only have 1 lakh, I hope it's fine.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
It's almost like, it's about being a part of this
Exactly.
journey rather than.
I really became emotional when guy mentioned, I want to put my life savings on you. I'm like,
How did you
boss,
see it? This
don't
is
do
all
this.
on comments. is
Yeah,
it?
there were some
Oh.
comments I remember seeing
Yeah.
them.
Did you take that 1 lakh?
No.
Okay.
I didn't, and I told him that please, that startup investments are 99% risk, 1% success. Please don't put your entire savings on us. There is just 1% chance that we'll get successful, and Series B will happen, liquidation will happen, acquisition will happen. So we told him that let's not do this.
It's a journey.
How did you get the first check?
Siddharth was responsible for that, my super boss at Web Chutney. So Gautam, who was the CEO and the one I was reporting to, essentially just called me one day and said, "What is going on?" Because they all knew about
Did
the.
you see the Amazon ad?
Oh yeah. I mean, they knew about
Okay.
the whole thing from day one, right? So
Oh, nice. And there was no, like, usually
Yeah, yeah.
these companies have conflict of interest.
yeah,
Nothing.
yeah.
Especially
nothing.
agencies.
Yeah, no.
Amazing,
So
yeah.
absolutely nothing. So I guess, and I was also open and upfront with them about it
Okay,
from
that
day
you were
one,
doing
right?
this,
That I'm
huh.
doing this, and you guys should try it out and all of that, right?
Amazing.
So they knew about the journey from the beginning, and at some point in time, Gautam essentially asked me, "How big is it?" And I sort of gave him a lowdown on what the numbers were, and I think roughly we were about this is maybe about 10, 12 lakhs a month at that point. So I told him this is what's happening, and he's like, "So have you raised anything?" I said, "No, no, no. This is still like the business is sort of generating it, and I'm kind of
12% profit.
and I was like, I'm very happy doing this because it was essentially, in a way, the web chutney money that is funding this, right? It's my salary that's going in there. So I said, yeah, it's nice, small, cute, something keeps me a little occupied. And they also knew about, and that's the thing about a place like Web Chutney, right? That this conversation about my job getting boring is not me and my circle of friends. It's me and all of us at work saying, this place is really spoiled us. What do we do? So we all had a very open conversation about it, and that's when I was telling them that this is probably what's giving me the most excitement right now. And that's it. We just met for a bit, and then and this was also work from home time, so we decided to meet in person to just have this exchange. And 24 hours later, Siddharth calls me. So I report to Gautam, and Gautam reports to Siddharth. So Siddharth's the founder. So Siddharth calls me and he's like, I mean, you can beep this out if you want. He's like, didn't know this was like, I thought you were doing some 60,000 a month or something like that. I said, it's small only. He's like, no, 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 no. My dream is this. And so that's that kind of guy, right? My dream is this. Anybody who walks out of Web Chutney, if I can make them an entrepreneur, that's what I want. And you can see where all of this is coming from, right? So he was like, send me a deck. I will float this out to everyone, and I want us to raise money. We should make something out of this.
Did you have a deck?
No, I didn't have a deck. So I was like, yeah, okay, fine. Give me some time. I'll work on it. And I sent it to him like in 1-2 days, whatever. And I told him that this is broadly what it is. I put in the numbers. I didn't even know how to structure the deck, right? Whatever. Did my own bit of research, found out what the broad 10 slides would look like, and put all of it together. And he had his feedback, whatever. And he said, this is fine now. I'll come back to you in a bit. So he first reached out to his mentor, Harish Chawla, who is a partner at True North, and also like invested quite a bit and all of that, right? So in a way, what Siddharth did was he tried to make Harish the anchor, and he said, and this industry also works a little bit in the whole FOMO way, right? Oh, he's putting, then I should sort of,
massive.
his decision can't be wrong kind of thing, right? So, and Siddharth knew, I guess, how this whole thing works. So he said, listen, first let's convince Harish, and he's a very, very difficult guy to convince. If he's fine, then I know the rest of the round will get done quickly. So we had a couple of chats with Harish, which took us about, I think, 3 or 4 weeks, grilled on every front. And I think Harish eventually told him we'll do 35 lakhs. And he set the round at 15 CR pre. So all of this was like, what is pre? I'm just like,
So this is incoming to you.
yeah.
You're
So
saying
yeah. So it was proper learning along the journey. And then what Siddharth did was he then said, let's ask the Densu folks also. They might be interested. And very similar to his story, right? It's about, and I've kind of realized this after doing a couple of rounds, is that I think this is also true irrespective of the size of the raise or the size of the business, is that at some level the investment is happening because of the person. The numbers are, I
100%.
guess, just a
Yep.
it's just additional
Yeah.
comfort.
Yeah.
So very, very heartwarming to sort of see like 20 folks from Densu sort of say, yeah, we'll put in whatever 5 and 10 and all of that. So bunch of folks from Densu plus Harish became that first set. Again, more introductions from Siddharth. So Ashish Hemrajani and Parikshit from Book My Show.
Nice.
Sachin Bhatia from Truly Manly. Then again, another network kind of opened up at another end via Yashas, my co-founder. And we got introduced to a bunch of other folks. Rana Dagubati sort of decided to participate. And then the CA got to know about it, and this guy sort of spoke to someone, and he was the CA for Amir Khan and Ranbir Kapoor. So he said, we'll all sort of do individual checks there. So that celebrity network also kind of opened up there. So it was the coming together of, all of these folks that became that first round. So we raised roughly about 4 CR at the 15 pre-money. And just about when we were about to close things out, Anupam also kind of reached out and said, yeah, we'll participate. So
Got it. What's your best recommended place for specialty coffee?
My house.
And we'll end it. नहीं बताओ ना कहाँ
I
मिलती है?
don't step out for coffee in Bangalore for sure. I'm not bragging, but I'm become like that. I want to brew it at home. And
Yeah, but everybody can't. But tell me a
Yeah.
place.
To me, consistency wise, I still say Blue Tokai
Okay.
in Bangalore. Some of my best cafes in India, one is Curious Life in Jaipur.
Is that specialty coffee?
Yes.
I've been there a lot, but I don't know what
Beautiful.
is specialty coffee.
Beautiful
Because anyone goes to Jaipur,
Yeah.
that C scheme, I don't know
C
what.
scheme.
They'll
Yeah.
say curious, and it's always full. It's
Full.
like
Yeah.
absolutely full.
So Curious Life is one in Jaipur. There is Quick Brown Fox in Delhi.
Okay.
Extremely good coffee again. Then there is Miraki in Surat. That I've heard, but I want to go. And again in Jaipur, there is one more Half Light.
Okay.
So these are some of the places that I usually end up going or buy beans from. Chandigarh, there is Bloom Coffee Roasters. If you're from there, so you would know. Okay, yeah. So it's great specialty coffee.
Okay.
Extremely good. So yeah, these are some of the places that I enjoy coffee. If I'm not brewing at home.
You said I don't go out, and then he
Yeah, and he has
painted
a
a map
because-
of India, not just
Yeah,
Bangalore.
I'm beginning to think maybe I sound like a snob for saying I don't know where in Bangalore I can get good filter coffee, but no, I guess that's just my.
No, say it now.
No. So I kind of still don't have filter coffee so much outside like him, because I think. Also, I guess it's a lot of this one, right? That you get it so much and so frequently at home and at
Yeah.
office. You kind of don't really want to go out and have another cup. And we're guys probably doing like 3-4 cups a day. And now, I still religiously do the morning cup at 7. But the evening cup I've slowly started avoiding. I just do a taste and I just leave it. Because you're just tasting so much, I guess, at some point.
Got it. Thank you so much for your time. I don't know how much time we spent.
Like Instamart, the hot chips that you see on the FSSA said essentially
Yeah.
no nonsense.
Yeah.
Okay. Very senior guy was trying to sell. He was like, oh, what? I was on the mango. मेरे oily हो गया हाथ.
Everything that's happened. Not like there's someone actively
खोलोगे?
looking at
Sure.
हमारा